Now I was saying on my drive here, I was thinking about this, and I just want to, before we get started, this is on my heart to share, and I just want to speak to someone real quick that's on their journey of growing their business, growing their, whatever you're after right now. This is the message I want to give you real quick before we get started in this interview, that you got to believe in yourself. You have to believe in yourself before anybody else believes in you. Here's the thing. Faith and doubt are both beliefs. Faith is believing in the outcomes that you desire, and doubt is believing in the outcomes that you don't desire. And you have to get to a point to where you only focus and think about the desires that you, think about the outcomes that you desire. Any other thought is a distraction, and too many times we get distracted thinking about the doubts. So on your journey today, just use that faith side of you. Use that faith side of you and get going. No matter how hard it is, get going. That was on my heart to share to someone today, so hopefully that stick with you. Now, let's get this happening. First of all, I want to say thank you for allowing me to do this interview with you. You could be doing anything in the world right now. It's anything you could be doing right now, but you decided to give me some of your time, and for that I'm very appreciative. And before we get started, I want to ask you this question. Let's say you and I got invited to a networking event, right? And it's an entrepreneurship business networking event. And we walk in the room, and we there, and let's say they give you an opportunity to speak. You are walking up on stage, they hand you the microphone. How would you introduce yourself and tell people in the room about your business? What do you say?
I say I am Candra Brown. I'm an entrepreneur at heart. I do a variety of different things. We can go into detail as we progress throughout the conversation, but I'm an entrepreneur. I start businesses, I take risks, and I generate high rewards from those risks. So that's what I do. I have quite a few different businesses. I'm a real estate agent. I also own a construction company. I'm also the CEO of a real estate investment trust. And then I'm also on the film side where I'm producing a film. So I'm an entrepreneur.
With you saying that, I had this conversation with someone before, and I want to ask this to you. What is your definition of a serial entrepreneur?
A serial entrepreneur, my definition, that's just a person who takes risk, calculated risk. It's in the name of starting businesses, but you're just a person who will see something or, envision what you want to be or what you desire to do, and you just put a plan of action together. That plan could be selling jewelry. That plan could be selling houses. That plan could be anything, but a serial entrepreneur is just somebody who is out there taking calculated risk.
Gotcha. Ms. Brown, so you have mentioned 4 different businesses to me. You said real estate, you said film, and you said CEO of an investment. Mm-hmm. And what was the 4th one again? A
realtor, own a construction company.
Construction, that's
yes.
the one I missed.
Uh-huh.
How did you get into all these different fields?
Well,
you know what? Let me ask this first. Which was the first one?
The first one I got into, this is the thing. As an entrepreneur, you can already be in these different fields, like through different times of your life. So my parents, my stepdad, he was a project manager. So he was already involved in construction. Meanwhile, I grew up as a kid who played Monopoly. So I always loved to buy property and sell property. Like, right. I really took Monopoly literally. So I was always a part of real estate. But it wasn't until 2021, 2020, December 2020 was when I got my real estate license. But prior to that, I had family that was involved in construction and real estate. So most of this, when I look at everything, no matter which dynamic or which industry I'm a part of, it's from the relationships. Whether those were family members or friends or significant others, it's a relationship that got me into each industry I was in. And of course, I already had a genuine interest. When I was younger, I did skits and plays and all that. So being tied to film now, it was always there. It just took the right relationship to get me into that position of producing. So yeah, everything is built on relationships.
Everything is built on relationships.
Yep.
That's truly amazing that you said it, because that's something I agree with as well. Relationships will take you afar, take you very far.
Very. They will put you in rooms, and just since we're talking about relationships, just recently, just because I have a relationship with my client who wants to be a developer like what I do with construction, he offered me the opportunity. Again, I'm not much of a speaker, but he offered me the opportunity to come speak at an event. I did not know that the event was going to result in me receiving a congressional certificate award. I had no idea. But because I knew I had a relationship with that particular individual who had spent over 14, 15 years in the industry that he was in, just a simple invite got me on stage receiving a congressional award. So relationships, they will put you in places you can imagine, because everything starts in the mind, but you can't really... You can't imagine at the same time. It's like,
so one part of it, you said you could imagine, you cannot imagine.
Yeah, because you envision where you want to be, but you don't envision exactly how it's going to happen. Because granted, even as I progress in my career and in my life, I do want to be more political. I do have a desire to even doing things like running for state representative. Well, just having that relationship and receiving that award has already put me in a dynamic where now I can move, in the political realm. So I didn't know how I was going to get there, but I envisioned that I was going to be there. So that's my thing. You may not actually know exactly how it's going to happen, but as long as I see myself on stage being awarded, or see myself on stage talking to people, it ends up happening. So,
yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Let's digress a little bit. Who were you before all this started? But before you got in, before entrepreneurship, who were you then? What were you doing then?
I was hustling. I was a teacher too. So I was a science teacher. Are you from Houston?
I'm not. I'm from the Bahamas.
Okay. Oh, okay, yeah. I hear.
What is that supposed to mean?
No, because I hear now, but you never know. Some people, because I know some people who, they moved here. So, they have their own accent from where they're from, but they've lived here. So I was just curious. Well, I was a science teacher at one of the toughest middle schools in Houston. While I was teaching, I was always hustling. I was always trying to start this. I was always in this thing, that thing. So in essence, even when I was younger, I'm not sure if you're familiar with network marketing, but I was doing that when I was younger, like 17, 18, because my stepdad was a network marketer. So I picked up things. I was always, even going back to school, I sold candy in school as a kid. I sold feather earrings where I would make earrings and sell them. So I was always, I always had an entrepreneurial mindset. I just know that as an entrepreneur, sometimes you need consistent income. And being a teacher was my consistent income while I worked on building my empire. So yeah, I was a teacher first.
And at what point did you decide to go full-time into entrepreneurship?
Oh, this is funny. When I decided, so I was a volleyball coach as well when I was a teacher.
You was just everything.
This is the thing. Don't put a limit on yourself. You know 100%. What I mean? Well, I will say this, I can't sing. So I know where to draw the line at. I can't sing. I cannot.
Oh, you cannot.
At all. So I know where to draw the line, but I do have a lot of skills and things like that that help transfer into different industries.
Yes, ma'am.
So as a volleyball coach, we were on a winning streak at the school. And one of the days I missed practice, and my assistant coach, the girls didn't respect the assistant coach while I was not there. Needless to say, they lost their game. And before I became their coach, I let them know, as harsh as it is, if we lose a game, I'm not coaching the rest of the season. Because I know what y'all can do. I know what I've shown y'all. My sister is one of the top, she's a champion volleyball player, and that is being very, very modest. She's like a real life champion. So I brought her there. I took the girls to games, college volleyball games and everything. So I knew that they were capable of beating all these teams. They lost the game. On the way, because when they lost that game, in the back of their mind, they knew that Miss Brown wasn't Coach Brown, she was not gonna want to coach us anymore. That was it. Season is over with. So 8 minutes. I have a video. It's an 8-minute video on my older phone where these girls went crazy on that bus. Okay, they cussed us out from here to Mississippi. I told you I worked at one of the toughest schools in Houston, Cullen Middle School. People, you talk about Cullen Middle School, everybody from Houston knows about Cullen Middle School. So I worked there, and those children, it's almost like everything they wanted to tell their parents, they told us. Wow. So at that point, I was like, you know what? I put in so much as a teacher. We already know what the salaries look like. Meanwhile, the school I was teaching, these children were at risk. So a lot of my funds go to helping pay for lunch, helping to feed them after the games, helping to get sports bras, knee pads, shoes, whatever they needed, I was giving. So I realized I was giving a whole bunch and not receiving enough in return. So at that point, I was like, I'd rather go real estate full time.
You said they were at risk. What do you mean by that?
What do you call them? Like underserved youth, like poor community. A lot of the children came from broken homes where they're either living with grandmother, parents are locked up. A lot of children were abused, and they're just at Cullen Middle School. That's just like an environment for underserved youth.
Was that a hard decision for you to make, leaving those kids and going into entrepreneurship?
Absolutely. Because when the vibe that I had at the school, if they don't have a good representation at home, they really look up to you. So I was the fashionable teacher. I knew how to get on their level. I didn't, I knew what the lunch food was like, so I incentivize them for being productive. If the principal is saying no cell phones, no this, that, and the other, when they come to my class, look, I taught science, and in science we do research. So there were things like, instead of making them feel like they were in jail, I provided them privileges that align with the work. So I knew that leaving them, it was going to be tough. And on top of that, the year that I left, one of my students passed away. So it was like a lot of different things that were going on, and since we're having a conversation, I was also getting divorced. So here I am, divorce is happening, getting cussed out as a teacher. One of my students has just been killed. So it's like, you know what, let's revamp this thing. But it was very, very hard because they looked up to me as a parent figure. I don't want to just say a mom, because it may sound like, well, that's really what it was. It was like a mom or an auntie, a fashionable auntie, right. That type of thing. So yeah, that was really hard. But I still keep in contact with some students today. Like when they're having, some of my students now that I taught in the 6th grade, like they're in high school, they're at Yates. So, if they contact me and their grades are up to par, I'm there to assist them. They may need shoes, they may need clothes for school, and as long as the grades are up to par, I'm able to assist them. So, but it was hard.
I bet it was.
Very hard.
I bet it was. What ultimately, well, not what ultimately, what was that moment when you was like, you know what, I'm done, full-time real estate? Well, let me ask this question first. That means that you were already in real estate at that point, outside of school, maybe like on your outside hours you're doing. So what was that like then, that part of the real estate journey then at that point?
I was really new into the realtor side of it, or realtist, whichever, word you want to use. So for me, crazy thing was I didn't even have like a large clientele. I didn't have buyers lined up and listings and all of that, but my history of always being a calculated risk taker. I was like, well, you know what? I got a couple of bucks in my teacher retirement. I've learned how to invest in real estate without my credit and my income being a huge criteria. So what I ended up doing was, at the same time I was leaving, I invested into a property on the construction side. And that's how I started my construction business. Because I saw that, okay, you can be a real estate agent and you can make 3% or less now, since there's so many lawsuits going around real estate agents, and what commissions we deserve. So I was like, I knew that in construction, thanks to my parents, there's a larger profit margin, specifically with new construction. So I took it up on myself, and I had some investors at the time who wanted me to find them properties. And once I did the numbers, I was like, I could do this for myself. So I found a property. I put the project together, put the play together. Let's say I needed like $30-some thousand. Well, I don't have that. And what I ended up doing was presenting that project to relationships that I had already developed, people who were already interested in real estate, they already understood the game, and then we started a project. So that was really how I was able to get out of teaching and having that consistent income to like taking a calculated risk. I knew what was going to come of this new construction project. We know, how much profit and how much, what is the word? I'm not looking for longevity. That's not the word I'm looking for, but we know what an investment property does. So that's the calculated risk. I know that once I build this property, if I put $300,000 into it, which is like $150 to acquire the property, then another $150 to build it, then I know I can sell it for $600-some thousand. So now I have a nice $300,000 or $250 window once I pay all my investors and everything off, and then I can decide to keep that. So I could sell it or I could keep it.
Right.
So I knew that was the most calculated, promising risk I can take by going full time into real estate.
You keep using the word calculated.
Yeah, you got to. You have to. You can't just be out there willy-nilly saying, hey, I'm going to try to do this, I'm going to try to do that. You got to do the numbers, what we call as agents. You got to do the comps. You got to sit down and you got to weigh your pros and cons. You can't you can. There are some people, they'll jump in the water and then they'll learn how to swim along the way because it's either do or die. Right. I've even been in that situation, but I've learned from that. I don't want to be out there trying to keep from drowning, Right. So you got to be calculated.
Did that come from jumping in the water, learning how to swim, or were you always that way?
I think it's a combo. Yeah, because I was always, like I was saying, I was always an entrepreneurial person. So that was always there. But there were times where I didn't have the relationship, I didn't have the wherewithal, didn't have the money, but I knew it was something there. And I jumped out. And that actually, when it comes to the particulars of new construction, that is where I jumped out. Where I was like, you know what, I'm gonna sink or swim. But I'm gonna learn how to swim during this, because at that particular time, when I first started, there's not a lot of women, especially black women.
What year was this?
This was 2021. So there's not a lot of black women, and not a lot of women, period, that are trying to get into construction specifically. It's one thing to be an investor and you invest in a project where you're building or you're flipping, but it's a whole nother dynamic to actually operate a construction company. So that part right there is where I just jumped out. But everything else around it was still calculated, because at the end of the day, I still had relationships that if I need to reach out, I could reach out. So yeah.
We just dived into this conversation head on, and I forgot to even do the intro for this podcast. So let's take a second real quick, and let me do this introduction real quick, because I just jumped right in it. Welcome back to another exciting episode of the Hour of Change podcast. And as y'all know, with every episode, you will never think the same, you will never move the same, you will never work the same, because the information we provide will help change your life. And today is no different. We have Ms. Brown here that has built a successful business. And as y'all have seen so far within this conversation, there's a lot of gems, there's a lot of things that she already said that could help you on your journey. So stay tuned for more of this. And let's get back to it. Get back to it. I forgot to do that. Sometimes I just get so excited in the conversation, I forget to do the introduction.
That's cool.
But so here we are on the construction side of things right now in your journey. Tell me a little bit more about that. Like, what's the ins and outs of that? Well, you know what? Here's the better question for the young, because you said it was not a lot of women doing it at the time. Looking back in hindsight, and what you know now, what's some advice you can give to the woman that want to get into the industry today? What would you tell her?
Oh, the number one thing I would say is to partner with someone that you trust and someone who has a history of being a solid individual, a trustworthy individual. Partner with them. And when I say partner, be vulnerable in the sense of letting them know what you don't know. Because how I did it, it was me, myself, and I just figured it out as I went along. But
The way you just said that just now, with such passion and such conviction, it's someone that needs to hear that because only you could say it like that. There's a world out there that's craving your perspective and your insights. And what's a better way to share them than through your very own podcast? I know you've been thinking about this for a while now. Maybe you're hesitating, unsure where to start, or feeling lost in the process. But guess what, though? Guess what? I've got the solution that you've been searching for. I got the solution. Introducing the podcast Jump. It's an ebook that's a journey to your voice, your roadmap to podcasting success that shows you how to start and grow your podcast. And it even has ways for you to monetize it. So let's go. I've laid out everything you need to know in clear, actionable steps because it's a group of people out there that's waiting to hear from you. Imagine this. You and I could have the same exact message, the same message. But when I say it, they don't listen to me. But when you say it, they all ears. And guess what? They even want to hear more. They want to hear what else you have to say. That is your tribe. And they need to hear from you. Don't you have someone that you listen to all the time? Maybe it's the person on ESPN or the guy that teaches you about health and fitness, or maybe even your favorite preacher. We all listen to them because they have a message that we want to hear. And it's someone that needs to hear your message because when you say it, it just hit different. When you say it, it feel different. When you say it, it just makes more sense. And when you say it, it even resonates more. Don't let this opportunity pass by you. Head over to the podcast Jump and get your copy now. It's time to unleash your voice and make an impact. Your audience is waiting. Grab your copy and let's embark on this incredible journey together. Let's embark on this incredible journey together. Go to thepodcastjump.com. Grab the ebook. Grab the ebook. Now let's get back to the episode.
keeping in mind, I still had people that I could reach out to because they're my partners today in other projects. But sometimes the ego can get in the way, and it's like, look, I figured out other things before. I'll figure this out. And granted, when you figuring it out, you're going to feel all the bumps, the bruises, the scratches. You're going to feel it all while you're trying to figure it out. So I would say partner with somebody that's in the industry that has a lot of experience and that's really trustworthy, which could be hard because that trustworthy thing is, man, that's a very tough one. Because I actually thought that I had partnered with someone in the beginning, a family member who I thought was trustworthy. But again, it's only, 12% women make up the construction industry, only 12%, and less than 1% are black. So when you look at that and you see how I moved very fast, on the outside looking in, it would seem like I moved very, very fast in the industry. So the partner that I thought I could trust was kind of like, for lack of word choice, there was some jealousy there. There was some envy, like, wait a minute, I was doing this for 10 plus years and I hadn't secured contracts like this. So instead of working with me and us tag teaming, it was like, you know what? No, I'm a side swipe her this way. That's a whole nother topic for another day. Cause that was that was a crazy dynamic. So yeah, trust is a huge factor in any industry, but specifically when you're in the super minority, that's like your biggest that's the biggest thing, is to find somebody you could trust, that you could partner with the experience and all that.
Trust.
Yeah.
Man.
Trust me.
And like you said, that's for any industry, any relationship.
Right.
Trust.
Right.
How do you know who to trust?
Oh, you know what? I'm going to say this. From the industry I'm in, I stopped relying on me, and I really did some spiritual work. It may sound like cliche or a game or whatever you want to call it, but whatever we call the higher power, God, the universe, whatever you want to call it, I strongly believe that when you pray or when you meditate, and you do it in all sincerity, it's going to be revealed to you. But you have to you have to take your emotions out. That's what I had to do. I had to take my emotions out. My emotions in the first partner I had was like, we family, we this, that, oh, this feel good, all that type of stuff. That's my brother. Right. But it was like, from the outside in, I had other people around me who were kind of like, hey, Candra, that don't seem right. They had these people, they had no, what do you call it? They had no incentive to being real with me. Right. There was nothing that they could gain by, just telling me that or anything. So once I started realizing that this person is telling me everything I want to hear or everything I think I want to hear. Because again, I'm not hammering anything. I just own the company. So I hire you trusting that you are going to do what thus said the Lord. And because I don't know, you're not doing that. And you're doing a lot of other things. So the way that I was able to trust was I had to really lean on spirituality. And I had to really lean on people who were not out to get anything. They had nothing to gain. And again, these people, they were trustworthy because I knew them like a decade ago, crossing paths in real estate. And come to find out 10 years ahead now, you're still in real estate. You're still fixing and flipping properties. You're doing new construction. So all of that helped me be able to trust somebody. I looked at their track record, and I looked at how when we have conversations, it was never, hey, when you going to put me on that project? It was never, hey, what we going to do next? It was always, let me know if you need anything. And that was it. It was no, hey, I could teach you this for about $10,000. It wasn't none of that. It was just straight, whatever you need, let me know, I'm here to help. Just a genuine conversation. So yeah.
That's amazing.
It took time though, but yeah.
It took time. Okay, so here we are in the construction industry now. What was the next step after that? What came after that? Because you said you had you in the construction, right? And then when did you add the next piece to it? Oh yeah, so going back to that relationship that I met 10 years ago. So when people see your drive and your everything, they typically want to attach to what you're doing. So that same relationship that I made a decade ago, yes, that I'm now working with on the partner side, he has a real estate investment trust where we now, since I'm the CEO of that, where we acquire multifamily properties. So he presented the opportunity to me. He was like, so this is another thing that I do. As a real estate agent or just a real estate professional, I'm also a part of several organizations. As a woman in construction, I'm a part of the National Association of Women in Construction. Then as a real estate agent, I'm a part of the Houston Black Real Estate Association. The Houston Black Real Estate Association, I'm their treasurer. On top of that, on top of the Houston Black Real Estate Association, you have the Texas Association of Real Estate Brokers. Right. I'm on their board of directors. Then over that, you have the National Association of Real Estate Brokers. I'm on the PR committee for that organization. Just everywhere. I know, right? And then, of course, with the Houston Association of Realtors, I'm actually on one of their advisory boards as well. So
him seeing how I have developed into this mastermind, whatever you want to call it, he was like, I think you would be a great fit to be the CEO of the Real Estate Investment Trust. So that's how I got that position.
Now I got two questions for you. One, how did you develop yourself into get into all these rooms?
Mm-hmm.
And then two, tell me more about what exactly is that part of the business about. Because well, dive a little deeper in it, because you say, it's acquiring multifamily homes.
Mm-hmm.
But let's get to that first question first. How did you get into all these different rooms?
You know what, as I know I've said before, so I'm socially antisocial. So even
What does that mean?
It's like how we're having this conversation. Right. I seem like I'm very social, but I like to be in my own space, minding my own business. So with that, I'm an introvert by nature, but I realize that I have to, again, if my goal is to be more political, these different organizations are political. So all I did was show up when they have an event. Oh, let me go see what's over here. I'll sit in the back. I won't say anything. And then you keep doing that, and it becomes I know her. And then it becomes hey, so are you going to go to this event? And then it becomes hey, did you know we're looking for a treasurer? Oh, okay, I didn't know. Do you mind being a treasurer? Oh, I don't mind. And it's like, okay, do you become a part of these when you're in that conversation or in that group chat? Then it's hey, did you know Texas Association of Realtors has a open position for the board of directors, that type of thing. So it's just about showing up to these events. It may seem like, and you have to be, what do you call it? You have to be conscious of the events you're going to, because that's another thing. I don't just go to every event, but I started paying attention to specific events. Like if they're going to have a What to Do with Big Mama's House event, then yes, I want to go there because there's going to be developers there. There's going to be people that work for the City of Houston Planning and Development Department. There are going to be other leaders, presidents of organizations. There are going to be people there, not just a cocktail happy hour, let's talk about real estate. So it has to be, I just started making myself seen in these different organizations. That's pretty, and I wasn't even, the most talkative person. I go there, I sit back, I observe, I collect the information, find out who I need to talk to specifically, and start making my way over there. Hi, I'm Candra. I heard y'all were doing a developer program or something like that for women. I have a construction company. If I can be of service anyway, I'd love to do that. And then it's like, wait a minute, you do? Then that conversation goes into the next conversation, to the next conversation. So yeah, just started showing up.
And that's so amazing that you said it, because there's a lot of people that want to get into the rooms like that. They want to do things, but they stuck on the couch.
I was there. Yeah, I was there.
And what was the turning point for you to get off of the couch?
Knowing that no matter what happens, time is going to go by. And I can't, if I have this vision of where Candra is supposed to be, not where she want to be, where she's supposed to be, I know that there are things I got to do. You just got to do it. And of course, I hate to even relate it to that because I'm working on that. But just like exercising, it's the same thing. We know we got to do it. We know that if we want to not have to squeeze into this outfit 2 months from now, we know what we got to do. It's just a matter of getting up to do it. Or 2 months are going to go by and you still going to not be able to fit into the outfit. So yeah, I just had to get up and do it.
So now my question to you is this. Speak to the person that's having a difficult time getting up and doing it. What advice you got for that person?
You know what? Like all the fitness trainers say, you gotta do it. You gotta do it when you're mad. You gotta do it when you don't want to do it. You gotta do it when everything is screwed up around you. You just gotta do it. Again, that's just another cliche phrase, but I just had to do it. As much as I do not like talking and being around a bunch of people for reasons I feel like this unnecessary, I knew I had to play the game. We all players in the game.
Right.
So you just gotta, take your person up and play your role. So yeah, I just had to do it.
Can you read that for me?
What is the most significant risk you've taken in your business, and what was the outcome? It's really what we've been talking about. The most significant risk was retiring from teaching and saying, hey, you know what? Life jacket or not, there's something.
What was risky about that?
Leaving teaching.
Yes. What was the risk in that?
The risk was you're leaving health benefits, you're leaving a solid stream of income, and again, when the summer comes, we still get paid as teachers. Ain't none of that when you leave such a what is called like job security. That was the risk, leaving job security behind, and being a mom. Because again, I'm in the middle. I'm going through a divorce. I'm a mom of 3. All of this is happening. You mean to tell me you finna quit your job?
Right.
You finna give up your security? So yeah, that was a huge risk. That was the risk right there. And then of course, here I am now with the outcome being I'm CEO of this organization. I'm on top of this organization. I'm here. I have these projects going on. Like on our way here, I got a text. Hey, my credit score is 720. I got $70,000. Can you help me invest in real estate with new construction? So this is where we are, from taking that risk, from saying, all right, HISD, you can have it. I'm talking about on my way out, like I even had it to where the principal, because that's another thing too, when people don't value you while you're there and you finally start to leave, it's almost like now they want to pull out the woodworks for you to stay. But no, they even tried to, the principal there tried to sanction my license because she was so upset that I was leaving.
Wow.
That would put me in a position where I can't teach again. So even when you think about that, it's like, okay, so you still don't get it. That's that all of those different things, from being cussed out, from pouring all my resources into this industry we call education to get, when I say nothing, it's nothing from the standpoint of administration, because you get what you get when it comes to the children and the relationships you build with them. But that's not paying your bills. You paying, you helping take care of other people's children. So yeah, that was the most significant risk I took, leaving job security to go full on real estate. And again, it's all commission.
While we're here, I feel like there's a lot of people that struggle with that decision, leaving job security to jump into the thing that they want to jump into, no matter what business it is. Mm-hmm. Speak to that person today. What advice you got for them in that?
The advice I would have is so while you're in that job, I would say start working on, like I did. I was working part-time on my real estate career while I was teaching full-time. So again, calculate it. I didn't just jump out, I got my license while I was teaching. Pandemic was the prime time because the teachers were at home behind the screens. So, that's perfect. Now I can do all my training and stuff while I'm teaching the class on this computer. I can do my trainings over here. They can't see me. So I would say you got to take a calculated risk. Everything has to be calculated as much as you can, because nothing is 100% guaranteed. But I had to weigh my pros and cons all the way around. Either I'm going to be sitting here another year going back and forth with the administration, looking upside the district's head like, hey, y'all not going to pay us anymore? Or I'm going to get up and I'm going to weigh out everything that I got going on, and I'm going to create my own salary. So that's what I would say. I would say work on your dreams, your goals, and all that jazz while you have that 9-to-5, and put whatever you got left over from paying bills into developing your skill set. to being whatever industry you want to be in, because I did that too. I took extra classes and courses and all that to get other certifications and stuff. So I did all of that, and that comes down to that calculation part. I did all of that. So yeah. What are the key qualities you look for when hiring new team members? Ooh, this one right here, this might be I look for, because I really don't, I haven't put it in words, because when I say this, it's going to sound bad. I look for people like me. I look
What
for
about
people.
that sound bad?
Because it's not really like boom, 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 boom. I know it's like a vibe for me. Like, of course, I'm looking at your credentials, like what you can do, but I'm looking at, can you make decisions without me being around? Like, can you make the best decision for the project when I'm not around, or do you have to call me every 5 minutes to figure something out? So I look for entrepreneurial qualities, for lack of word choice. That's what I look for. Like my team member now, who I feel like in a few years, he will be my CEO when I decide to go shake hands and kiss babies all around the world. He's gonna be my CEO because he's like a male version of me. Actually, he's a little better, because again, I know where my flaws are. And when it comes to like people skills, like dealing with clients, since I was already a teacher, I'm not interested in having to, without this sounding so bad, because again, I own the company, okay? So I hire people to be like my project coordinator, for example. When it comes to clients, I'm not supposed to be having conversations with clients. That is what my project coordinator does. He is the liaison between me, the project manager, the GC, and the client. So what ends up happening is I have clients who they want to do what I do. So they feel like they need to have direct contact to me. Meanwhile, that was never my intent. When I started this business, to hire people who know how to do what they know how to do. So the qualities I look for, they're all related to that entrepreneurial vibe that you can't really put a definition on.
No.
You can't. This person, that's why I said it was bad when I said they're like me. And I had this conversation with my trainer before, because she would say the same thing, like, you gotta be able to, put the words on the paper. And I'm like, but see, with my guy, I don't need to. He knows when we're having a conversation and I'm telling you, hey, I got a client here out of Africa and out of Nigeria, and this is what this client wants to do. And he's, okay, boss, because that's what he always say, okay, boss. So he starts rattling off questions for me that I wasn't even paying attention on needing to have, but he's been an entrepreneur before. He started businesses before. He was actually a teacher as well. He taught longer than I did, and he came from a military background. So all those different things, like we can say structure, and we can say somebody who is good with time management and all that type of stuff, but it's more of a, when I look at the skill set, because he has a project management certification, so that's there, but so is that for other people that have come across the desk. He just has that me quality. He knows how to operate he just knows how to operate. And I can't put that into the word that y'all looking for, but it's like one of those things. It's like when you're dating, it's like, when you know,
right.
You can say, oh, I want her to look like this, I want her yada, yada, yada. But then if you get in a room and all of them look the same, it's gonna be that vibe, or it's gonna be that, that's gonna connect you to that right person. So yeah,
that's a good analogy. I like that one. What is one horrible experience have you had in your business that just went all the way left?
Oh, well, in a construction company, or really in any industry for that, people are able to sue for any reason they want to sue. So my company was sued.
What for?
Well, a number of things. So, in short, because this is without getting too into it, I had a project manager who did not. Okay, let's do this. You know how you would get a contractor come over to your home, and let's say you only pay for that contractor to do paint the walls, but since they're there, you say, well, hey, you think you can add some doors to my backyard? I want to put up some new doors over there. And then they say, okay, yeah, that's fine, I'll do that. Then you say, well, you know what? I kind of don't like my cabinets anymore. You think you can do some cabinets for me? So all of that starts happening. Meanwhile, you only paid to get the painting done. And the only thing that was allocated from the company that sent that guy out was painting. So you and that GC has decided, took it upon yourselves to do a whole nother project.
GC, general contractor.
General contractor, right? Took it upon yourselves to start adding additional things to your project, and then guess what? You don't like it. You don't like how them cabinets came out. But the company only sent that person out there to paint. Because you know what? The company already knew he's not the best cabinet guy.
Right.
So we only sent him out there to paint. But meanwhile, y'all have created this whole new, narrative at your place, and now you want all these different things done, and that contractor was not able to deliver. But you don't care about the contractor, you care about the company that sent him out there. So now we got a claim. Now we want all our money back and some. Well, wait a minute. Because you don't like the dynamic that happened between you and the general contractor, now anybody can file a claim. If I come in here and, obviously slip on the floor, or if I'm doing a construction project and one of my guys has a friend that comes over and a piece of wood falls on them or whatever, they can they can file a claim. Anybody can file a claim about anything. Same thing as a real estate agent. If the buyer doesn't like the way their buyer's agent tone of voice is, they can file a claim against your license. So anybody can file a claim. Anybody can file a lawsuit. Anybody can file a claim. So that was the worst part of my business. But at the same time, it was the best part, because it let me know that I needed to have me an attorney on board at all times. I thought, when you green in everything, you think, oh, this is going great. We got contracts. We're doing this. This is a beautiful thing. And you don't realize that new investors, they don't have that same wherewithal that you have. They think everything, a lot of people look from the outside looking in, oh, the ground is there, then it's a home. Not considering all the different dynamics that go into building a property. Not considering all the different things that if the city says, hey, I want you to stop building, you stop building. Meanwhile, an investor could have their money in a project and they want to go to Cancun, but the project is not complete. So then you have, okay, well, you know what? I don't like that. So now I want to file a claim because I don't like that the project is taking too long.
Wow.
Okay. So those are the uglies of a business, specifically with construction. People what is it? At the end of the day, you have to prove your innocence, for lack of word choice, when it comes to these types of things.
And you being the CEO, how do you navigate all of this? How do you get a hold of all of this?
I have an attorney. Because at first I didn't.
Right.
So what I would, at first, when it first happened, and again, I know myself, which is why I hired a project coordinator. But what happens is when you have other people who want to show their level of boss, it's like, I want to, instead of, you know how it goes, well, I want to speak to the manager, it's like, no, I want to speak to the owner. Just, why you want to speak to the owner? Oh, well, I want to speak to the owner because you know what? Maybe we went to school together. Maybe you saw me 5 years ago at a conference or whatever, and the respect of me being a CEO is not there. So you feel like you have to talk to the CEO. And when that happens, I'm a no nonsense kind of person. So I don't know if are you familiar with Sheila Jackson Lee?
I do know who she is.
There was during her campaign, there was a situation that came about where somebody recorded her going off on one of her staff members. I had that moment where I'm talking about I cursed them out. Do you hear me? Because I didn't sign up for this, okay?
Right.
There's a slew of people in place for you to there's a chain of command for you to contact, but you want to exercise whatever right you feel like you have, and I'm going to talk to the CEO. CEO wasn't having a good day that day. So you got you got it. You got every word I could think of at that point. So to navigate that now, I have an attorney. I don't do that. I'm not going back and forth with you. You're not going to send me no DMs and stuff like that. You're not going to do any of that. We have contracts in place. We have attorneys to handle that. So, yes, got to pay to play. Get that attorney at the end of the day.
To have an attorney in your business, that means business must be doing really well.
And see, that is the positive side of it, right? Because when this first happened to me, I was like, oh my gosh, this is like the worst thing ever. But I kept hearing that. Attorneys kept saying, because, when I'm looking for the attorney that I want to work with, I was hearing them tell me that, well, you ain't doing business until you've been sued. And I'm like, wow, is that really how it goes? And then of course they make you feel even better about yourself. And all these types of corporations have been sued. It is what it is. But your goal is to have your paperwork right and have an attorney that understands your business, and everything else will work itself out.
And what type of attorney would that be?
For me, I have a real estate attorney, a business attorney, someone who understands contracts, and my attorney also happens to be a judge as well. So God is good.
God is good. God is good.
Yeah. If you can become an expert at marketing or sales, which one would you choose? You know what? I'm going to go with, I will become an expert at marketing. Because I feel like if you know how to market, whatever it is you're marketing is going to sell itself. So you won't have to sell anything if I'm understanding this dynamic properly. I would prefer to become an expert at learning how to market my products, market myself, tell my story, that type of thing, instead of selling an item to anybody.
And with that being said, how do you market your business today?
Today, I'm working on that because, again, I'm socially antisocial. So what I've been looking into is hiring a social media managing company. I have a few that I'm looking at, and that is the route I am going to go. Because I'm the type of person where I post whatever I want to post online. It's my page,
Right.
But I've been listening to other marketers and like my brokerage. I'm with a phenomenal brokerage, the Braden Real Estate Group, as a real estate agent, and their marketing is superb. So listening to more experienced people, yeah, marketing is something that I am definitely working on now. And again, it's another pay-to-play thing. You gotta, as much as I don't want to be walking through a house having a camera follow me around, it's the name of the game. That's what people want to see.
Right.
They don't want to see me, me just doing random things, which some people may, but when it comes to actually scaling your business, you got to give the people what they want. And they want to see folks walking around in pretty houses and showing all the glitz and glams, the pretty part of real estate.
I've been seeing that a lot on social media these days, where it's just the camera flying around, showing everything. And
people
like
want to see it.
They want to see now.
Yep.
They want to see now.
That's what they want to see.
I had a very specific question I wanted to ask you, and I'm trying to remember it right now. Where are you at in your business right now in terms of clientele and the growth of your business?
Well, this is what I would say. Less is more. So at one point, I used to be good with having a whole bunch of contracts. Now, that's not what I operate on. I operate on quality contracts and quality people.
When you say contract, what do you mean?
That can be like what I was saying earlier, where you have someone, an investor, who wants to come in, they have money, and they want to build. They want to either build multifamilies or a subdivision. And that is similar. That's what we'll be doing here at this particular location. All this free land you see will no longer be. We will be building 16 to 18 townhomes around this entire home. And this particular home will become an amenity center. So I look, right now, I focus on quality projects, quality investors. At first, it was hey, everybody want to do it? Let's do it. No, now I'm vetting my clients because I don't want to repeat that same process where you're going outside of the scope of work. If the scope of work says we're doing 16, that's what we're doing until we've gotten everybody on the line. And then we say, you know what, we can do another one. But it's not going to be a fight for who's the biggest boss. So yes, my projects now, my business now is all based on quality.
There's a lot of people that have money that could be investors, that have the right credentials, that have money available, that have the resources available. How do you pick and choose which investor you want to work with?
It's similar to how I pick the people that I work with.
On your team?
Yeah, because I look at them as a teammate, as a partner. So if we can't sit down and have a conversation about life, if we can't sit down and have a conversation about the business and you understand, prime example, I have a client right now where in a different setting, I would be, I guess, a subordinate, for lack of word choice. This client is so top of the food chain where I'm having to sign NDAs. In another world, I would be like, tell me everything you know, which I still am in essence. But it's how I look at you as a partner. Like, can we do this long term? What is your attitude like? What is your vibe like? If I tell you, hey, I'll give you a call back this evening around 7, and I'm not able to get to that for whatever reason, how do you react to me? Those types of things. If we have a deadline for November 12th, but in the interim, we have all these other things that come up, how do you deal with adversity from a business perspective? So those are the things. And again, I had another client who he's been wanting to build since May of last year, but there's been so many hurdles to get him there. The entire time, he has been nothing but pleasant. That's the
person you want to work with.
Yes, long term. Yes, and people who are there, they know that this business is it's a lifelong thing. This is not a get rich quick at all when it comes to real estate and construction. So yeah, people who really understand, who understand that we all human at the end of the day. No matter how many, projects we have or how fast somebody can get this particular job done or whatever the case may be, no matter how many times we get annoyed with the progress, just a wholesome, good-hearted person. I'm looking at a person. So it's like, because I can work with somebody who don't have all of that.
Right.
I can put you on a project today, but it's, how are you as a person? Because I don't want to have to cuss you out. But if you take me there, I'm working on me, okay?
Right.
But, yeah.
We're going to wrap this up real soon, but I just have a few more questions. We haven't spoke a lot about projects, but what you're saying, that this project you're working on now, where it's going to be multi-family homes around this building, correct? That's what you said, right?
Single family.
Single family homes
Yes.
around this building, that around this house we're in today. What's What's the budget on that like?
So, it's around, we plan to get this done for about like 3.5 million for the whole thing. But yeah, that turns it, the project itself, at the end of the day, it'll be well over 10, $11 million once it's done. So, yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
So
But
you,
yeah.
and you're gonna own this whole thing, basically.
My partner
You and your
and
partner.
my partners and
partners.
I will own this, yes.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And we'll be sitting in right now for y'all that's listening. This is a nice home. A nice home. Let me ask you, how long it's gonna take to get it all done? What's the goal there?
We're looking at about 2.5 years. And again, a lot of this depends on the city of Houston and what they, because I had a project where we were moving very well, but then the city of Houston said, hey, you know what? We're going to change the elevation codes in the middle of your little project you got going on. So that held up my project for 2 years.
Wow.
So yeah, and I would say lost. We didn't lose money. It's just at the particular time we had a huge unexpected expense. So you got to expect the unexpected in real estate,
Right.
especially new construction. So yeah, this home, this is what, 7,100 square foot home, that where this whole entire bottom floor will have like yoga, we'll have an office space for all the different residents here. And this is the thing, this is why I say partners, as a real estate agent. So there's this thing called creative financing.
I heard of it before. Well, I think Pace Morby. I think that's what I heard. You ever heard of Pace Morby? He's a guy that do creative financing as well.
Oh, that's cool, yes. Yeah, that means you can get an alien out here to be able to invest at the end of the day. All legal, of course.
Right.
But there are ways like sometimes when you hear.
I'm sorry to cut your wisdom. Let's just to make sure I understand what you're saying. Creative financing, that is where I don't have to use cash or credit, right?
Yours, correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, for the people that don't know what it is,
Yeah.
what is it exactly?
Yeah, you're right. Where you partner with people who do have cash and credit, because in some cases you just don't need credit at all. It's levels, layers to it. So for this particular property, we're working with a loan officer who's great at creative financing. So my client's probably going to come out of pocket maybe like, I want to say about 30-some thousand. Well, I shouldn't even say that, because here's the thing. As a real estate agent, you are able, this is the thing that makes you a real estate agent. You are able to market properties. So when this particular project came on board, what we did was we got an architect to do, we got our platting guy, our platting department. They put together a site plan. So we were able to take that site plan along with the architectural drawings or the rendering, and we were able to sell the development. So this is how you don't come out of pocket your own money. When we sell the development, I got 3 investors to come in, Chicago, Dallas, and California, to buy lots. So we sell the lots on the pre-development side. So they were able to purchase lots. It's going to be 18. So they got 3 of them. With that, they brought money to the table. So my client didn't have to worry about that money. Now, the other creative part is we happen to know the owners of the home. And we also happen to be partners with the people who built the home. They're the owners and they built it. What happens is, since we have relationships, they were able to give my client a gift of equity. So in essence, to acquire a property like this, you got to come out of pocket about $400,000.
Right.
But with the investors coming on board that nibbled at that $400,000, with the current owners and my partners giving a gift of equity, there's no money down.
Right.
And that gift of equity that they gave, it turns into a townhome for them. So they still get to manage this property, and they have a townhome on site. So yeah, credit we can go on and on,
Right.
but it's a lot. And the person I work with, they don't care about credit.
By the way you was answering the question, I could tell it was layers and layers and layers, because you started here and you was like, okay.
Yeah.
And then, but I can tell it's definitely layers to it.
Yeah.
Which means that you know your stuff. Mm-hmm. It means you know your stuff.
And I work with people who know their stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the big part of that.
Yes.
Working with people that know their stuff.
Yes.
That's amazing. You say you started in 2020?
I got my license December 20th, 2020.
And it's 2024. That's it. To be where you are, that's a short period of time.
Very. Yeah, that's right.
Congratulations on all your success.
Thank you. And I have so much, more to go, and so much to develop, especially as myself personally, because like I said, I'm working on me still to this day. So even with all of that growth, it is. Yeah. And that's why I really enjoy real estate, man. I'm really playing Monopoly, and I've always played Monopoly. I don't care how boring the game is, how long it takes. I'm playing Monopoly, and I'm going to be the bank at the same time. Okay. So, it's a lifelong journey.
Have you ever heard of this game called Cash Flow?
Yes, I've heard of Cash Flow. Yes. I actually read the book Cash Flow Quadrant.
I have too. Yeah. It changed my life. Changed my life.
Yeah, Kiyosaki. Yeah,
that's my guy. That was the book that sent me on that journey of wanting to find out more information. Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Read that.
When I put that book up, it was an aha moment. Mm-hmm. Like, that was the first time I ever was in my living room at 3 o'clock in the morning, pacing back and forth. Couldn't put the book down.
Yeah.
This is unbelievable.
Yes. Yeah.
And then I read Cash Flow Quadrant. Mm-hmm. I was like, I never thought about it like that.
Yep, other people money.
Man.
All day.
Yes.
Yes.
But that cash flow board game is amazing. You played it before?
I'm gonna try that. No, I haven't. I haven't played it. That's cool. I'm gonna get that.
It's like Monopoly on steroids.
Oh, don't tell me that.
Yeah, it's very good. I have it at my house. I think they say it's the world's most expensive board game. It's like $100.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's cool. Yeah. See, now you got I'm definitely gonna do that.
Definitely should do it. Whenever you want to play it, invite me over. Let's do it together.
That is a deal to me. Yes, that's cool. Yes,
let's
shake on it. That's
okay,
cool.
Good.
I'm gonna learn how to do it.
She said it. She said it. I got 2 more questions for you before we get up out of here. And the first one I want to ask is, okay. I like this one right here.
Let's see. Who is your ideal client, and how well do you understand their pain points and needs? My ideal client is similar to what we were discussing at first. It's a client who knows what they want. Like, specifically, they know that I want to build multifamily properties, or I want to build single family affordable homes. So it's a person who knows exactly what they want, but they also know that they don't know this business. Meaning, not that we can just tell them whatever, but they know that we need to listen to the people that we hire to do the job, and trust that they're going to do what they set out to do, in spite of all the different things. Because at the end of the day, me as a company, my job is to see the project to fruition. I want to see the building just as much as they do. So my ideal client is someone who they understands that it's a long-term, it's a long process. New construction is not for the faint of heart. It's really not. So somebody who, like I was saying earlier, they understand the dynamic of business. They understand that things change. And as long as people are able to sit down and have a conversation, we can all get to the finish line. They're understanding their pain points. This is why. So I'm actually getting ready to partner with another, because I thought about like teaching. I used to do this. I used to host events called Coffee and Construction, where people come out to address their pain points, and they get to learn different parts of construction, which I may rev it up again toward the end of the year, but I have a lot going on.
That sounds very interesting.
Yeah, it was very neat, very, very neat. Because you get to come out and you get to see projects in various stages, and you get to talk to contractors and things of that nature, and vendors and stuff like that. So when it came to those pain points, that's what I was doing. Now I have a project coordinator, and that person, that's their job, to we have this particular client. This is what they know. This is what they don't know. This is, where we want to get them. And I allow my project coordinator, who is a certified project manager, to handle all of that. So I just focus on acquiring the clientele, which is the same people that I look for as a part of my team. Those are the same ideal clients I have. Somebody who I can work with, somebody who I can have a conversation with, somebody who knows that it's not. I need my ideal client is a positive, optimistic person, not somebody who's gonna look at a missed deadline like, oh, they must have did something with the materials. Oh, they must have, not a negative Nancy, for lack of word choice. So that's my ideal client, just a downright, genuine, good intention person like me.
You must have dealt with some negative Nancy's before that.
Absolutely. That's how I got sued. That's what I'm telling you.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. It's like, it's like we have a demolition as a part of the project. Cutting down trees is a part of the demolition, because we're going to grade this whole lot down. You telling the world that we stole your AC unit, that's not what we have no reason to do that. You know what I mean?
Right.
My guys are here to work. These are hard-working guys. They have families. Nobody's here to steal an AC unit, just so you can file a claim and then talk about, y'all are cutting down the trees and that's decreasing the value. Wait a minute. We have to demo. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, what are we doing? Like, because what happens is sometimes if they don't have an entrepreneurial background, they can get in over their heads. Clients.
Right. Okay.
Potential clients.
Got you.
They can get in over their heads when it comes to new construction. So, and again, if you never built a property from the ground up, you don't know what to expect. This is why I am more I'm very hands-on with my client. You can't just fill out an app, something online and then, hey, we show up and we start working. No, I really want to know what you've done in your past. That for me, like how you're talking to me and you're hearing me talk, I want to talk and I want to see how you align with what my goals are and who I am as a person. So yeah, you have to have some type of entrepreneurial, some type of success as a business person for it to be my ideal client. If not, if you don't, this is where the real estate investment trust comes in at. Because now you can take whatever disposable income you have, and you can invest in a trust. And you can just sit back and watch your money increase. But we don't need to have a conversation.
What I'm getting from this is that a lot of people be wanting to talk to you.
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
And
yes.
while we're here on that topic, I just want to say that I am truly humbled and grateful that you gave me your time. Seriously.
No, and I appreciate you. See, I enjoy this. And these types of things, this is actually I've done stage presence and stuff like that and sat on panels and stuff like that, but I never really got into the podcast type vibe. But this is my second time doing it, and I enjoy this, and because this is what I do when I'm trying to figure out if I should work with you or not. So I enjoy this, but I'm actually grateful that you even reached out to say, hey, let's have a conversation about all the shenanigans you're involved in. So I appreciate that.
Thank you.
I really do.
You know what? I'm glad you brought that up because that's one of the questions that I've been asking people I've been connecting with lately. I've been asking them to tell the audience how you and I connected, because I want to start painting this picture of how I'm connecting with people, because I know it's people on the journey as well of wanting to become a podcaster, and maybe they're afraid to reach out to somebody, or maybe they reach out one time and the person don't answer, so they stop asking.
Right.
So I've been asking my guests for them to tell a story of how we connected so they could hear it from that person instead of me. Because sometimes when it comes from me, it may be like, oh, maybe he's lying or maybe he this. But if it comes from you, then it's a different story. So, and I want you to tell it in the most truthful, rawest form of how we connected.
It was on social media.
Instagram.
I don't know what it was or something like that, but I know you sent me a DM about being on the podcast. And again, I was kind of like, I don't recall like responding immediately. It was like time went by because I was already like, I don't really like to talk, but I know that what I ended up doing was going to your personal page and your podcast page. And I was like, oh, I like Hour of Change. I like that. That's pretty neat. And then I started seeing like some of the people, and I believe, I can't think of her name. Is it Six Figure
Spot Chick?
Yeah, I ended up, because I had followed her like long time ago.
Amazing person.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, wait a minute now. Don't be fooled. Yeah, don't be fooled by the numbers, because the people that are on there are quality people. Hey, we're quality people. So you can't be fooled by that. And I know you reached out a couple of times, and it took me a while to respond. I finally responded, and then we tried to set a date. I know, because even while I was setting a date, so I was kind of like, man, my schedule, I know something could come up. Or like you said in the very beginning, I got a lot of stuff to do. I have a lot of things to do. So even like within this week, I was like, man, I got a lot of stuff to do, and I got contracts, I got stuff that I need to finish up. Even with my coordinator, I have to revise his contract, and I'm like, man, there are things I have to do, and then I got this person, all this stuff is happening, and you were sending me a message like, hey, and that's another thing too, I use my do not disturb, I use that faithfully. I use that faithfully. So a lot of times I'm not even getting any alerts. I actually have to go in and look and see who sent me something. And so I saw it and I was like, man, I don't know if it was like Monday or Tuesday or something, but you had been sending me messages, and I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do it. But then I was like, no, I gotta do it. I gotta get off that couch. I gotta do it. And then again, I kept thinking, I was like, man, you know what? Again, it's actually an honor when somebody says, hey, you're building your business. Your business is this podcast.
Yes, ma'am.
And so if somebody takes out the time to invite you into their business, like, I'm a businesswoman, I have to respect this man's business. And I said, you know what? We're gonna be there Friday. I'm gonna see you Friday, because at the same time I was like, oh, I could really use this time, because normally Fridays are my chill days. I don't work on Fridays unless I'm doing like, something like chill. If I just want to go out and look at a property, or if I just want to go out and do something, that's what I do. But I don't send email. I don't do all that stuff on Fridays. That's really my chill day. And I was like, I respect it. So here we are. I'm showing up and I'm doing this podcast.
I appreciate that. That means a lot to me.
Yeah.
That means a lot to me. Let's get one more question in. Oh, I think this is a good one.
Ooh, let me see. How do you handle conflicts and disagreements within your business, partnerships, or team? Ooh, okay. Because like I said, the old me, I was cussing people out. So now what I do, and what I learned is, again, as cliche as it is, what's for you is for you.
100%.
And if you meant to work with somebody in a like other people, like people say too, sometimes, because I've started projects with people who I'm talking about, they seem like they would die hard, they was in it to win it, and then conflict arises, and it's like, now because as big as Houston is, it's small. And then real estate is smaller. And then as a realtor, a black realtor, it gets smaller and smaller and smaller.
Right.
So the circle is very small. So when your conflict, you start hearing about your conflict from people who wasn't in a conflict, it's like, okay, I gotta approach this a whole lot differently. So what I've learned now when I have conflicts, I remove myself from the situation as quickly as possible. I don't even give things time to develop into anything. If I sense it doesn't feel right, and I talk to, because in partnerships, the partners have their own team, and then I have my team.
Right.
So when it comes to partnerships, we at the team table, like, hey, I'm kind of feeling like this about this particular project, A, B, C, D, and E. Again, I hire people like me, and chances are they done already felt it. And I'm just a little late to the party, because that's another flaw that I have. I can give people the benefit of the doubt a little too much. Whereas my right-hand guy in the business, he don't operate like that. He has military background.
Right.
So the minute he
Straight to the point.
straight to the point, nope, we done. We don't need to do this anymore. So that's how I
like
do
a
it.
good balance between y'all two.
Perfect balance. Perfect balance. Yes, absolutely. And the funny thing is, he was a social studies teacher and I was a science teacher. So it just worked. It just worked perfectly. But even with us, but again, I've hired people who are like me. So when it comes to conflict, we already know how to talk about it. We don't have to worry about somebody getting mad at somebody and I'm finna block you and I'm finna do this and do that. No, boss, you might not like to hear this, but A, B, C, D, and E. Oh, you know, that's cool. I'm not really gonna trip. And then at times, because I'm a woman and I may get emotional, he not, matter of fact, this is what we're gonna do.
Right.
I understand you may feel like this, but this is what we get into. And as a when we taught, we go by each other's last names. So when he say, look, Brown, this is what we gotta do. That means, okay, I'm getting a little too emotional. I'm going on a rant. I need to pull it back. So yeah, I handle it by removing myself from the situation, and you know, no love lost, none found either. But at the same time, just what they say, you know, there's no need to give. Our energy is everything. So there's no need for me to put so much energy into something that they've already shown you a glimpse of. This ain't gonna work. So no, we're not gonna sit at the table again just to see a bigger blowout. No, we're not gonna do that. We're gonna remove from the situation, and who knows, maybe that was just something that we could have gotten over. Oh well. But I know that since we've removed myself from the situation, I ain't got nothing to, you know, there's no if, ands, or could be. At the end of the day, that's how I keep my sanity. That's how my team keep their sanity. And that's in partnerships. That's how we all keep our sanity. We just got to cut our ties, cut the contract where it's at, make sure everybody get their pieces, and bye. We gotta be comfortable with saying no and bye. I appreciate you. It was fun while it lasted. So yeah, people have all these different things they want to say about. I hate to even say the name, but Trump. But let me tell you, his matter of factness is. It is what it is. It may hurt people's feelings. It may not sound good coming out when he's saying the blacks, but at the end of the day,
that's what it is.
That's what it is. You sound
like my wife right now. She be like, man, Trump tell it as it is.
Flat out. And it may hurt feelings. It may seem like, oh man, we're gonna miss out on this amount of. I've missed out on a $3.5 million property project.
Put that on your Instagram.
Yeah, it didn't feel right. It was too much going around behind the back and weird dynamics. It just didn't feel right, and it wasn't. So yeah, gotta be okay to cut them losses and cut them as soon as possible, and really have a solid enough team to be able to point that out for you. Because again, if your team is how you are, y'all not gonna be arguing. And you know what I would say too? Who knows? This might be so bad. I don't know if my team dynamic would be different if I had more women. I don't. I'm the only woman. So I don't know if that helps in
How many
my
members
team.
on your team?
Right now it is 4 of us.
4 of you. Mm-hmm. And why you choose to be the only woman?
Maybe some ego stuff. No, just playing. No, you know what? I've just always worked. I don't know. I really don't, because I'm the oldest of 6, and I've just always been. I feel like when it comes to this, might be so bad. Oh my gosh.
Everything you say is gonna be so bad.
Because people receive things different. Because it's like,
be like Trump,
women
just say what it
empowerment.
say.
There we go. Okay, I appreciate you for saying that. Because when it comes to women, too many women in the kitchen can be a little catty. It can be.
Y'all, I know this episode was so great, but unfortunately, while I was recording this episode, my phone died on me. I was filming this episode on my cell phone, but it died with like another 15 minutes left for the episode. So I humbly apologize to y'all, because I know that this episode is filled with gems and wisdom and knowledge, but man, I was even heartbroken when the interview was done and I checked my phone. I was like, oh my gosh. I was pissed. But nevertheless, whatever we do have, we're gonna run with it. But I just want to tell y'all, thank y'all so much for tuning in and sticking into this episode. Going forward, we will do our best to ensure that we are filming everything. We don't have this issue again, because I know that I have came on here before and said this, that we ran into a little issue which caused us to not have the full episode. And if I want y'all to take me serious, then I gotta be serious. And we can't be having this same issue time and time again. So I am gonna be committed to ensuring that we get the job done and get the job done right. So that's my mission going forward. Other than that, thank y'all for showing up. Oh, while I'm here, let me say thank you to Miss Candra for even giving me the opportunity to speak with her, because I have, like she said, I have messaged her a few times, and we finally was able to connect and make it happen. So, and I absolutely enjoyed the interview, because she is a woman that, one, knows what she wants. 2, she's a woman that knows who she is. And to be around a person like that, it uplifts you as well. It inspires you as well to become that person that you want to become. So, Miss Candra, I just want to let you know that I am sending loads of wins your way. Anything that you put your mind to and you put your work to, and whatever you do, I'm sending more wins your way. I'm sending more love to your business. I'm sending more high ticket clientele to your business. I'm sending whatever it is that your heart desires. I'm sending all that your way, from my family to yours. Keep being great, keep being phenomenal, and wherever your journey takes you, I'm excited to see that, and it will be an honor to be a part of it. Other than that, thank y'all for showing up and sticking around. Other than that, we up out of here. Love y'all. Peace.